Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you live from beautiful Budapest. I hope everybody is having a good weekend so far. In this class, we are looking at IELTS reading, answering some challenging questions. While we wait for some more of your peers, this lesson is brought to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, check us out there. Join our premium package. For the general version of the exam, check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. On these websites, we have lots and lots of great materials for you. This is our academic web portal here. Click that big red button to join the premium package. And this is our general version of the website here. Click that big red button to get access to all of our videos, interactive courses, practice exams, and original strategies for high band scores. Hi Pavan, hi Bhumi, hi Tito. Nice to see our members in the class. Hi Violet, I'm doing great, thanks you. Hi Preeti Sharma in India, and Kamal, good to see many students in the class. If anybody has questions about the exam or our products, just send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com. This reading class is the last class for this week. I will resume classes on Wednesday for live classes. I'll put that schedule up on the YouTube community board later today, so you can check out next week's schedule there. And there will be classes from Wednesday all the way to Saturday. All right, everyone. Looking good. Let's get into today's reading passage. So here we go. Let's take a look at the title first. Lotteries. Positive good or unnecessary wrong. Now, this is an academic IELTS reading passage, but for general students, do remember that your Section 3 passage in the general version of the exam is very, very similar to the passages in the academic version. Okay. All right. So here we go. Lotteries. Positive good or unnecessary wrong. First steps first, when we read the title, we need to do a little bit of critical thinking. So always warm up the brain just like you warm up the engine of a car on a cold day or before a big race. Warm up the brain by doing a little bit of critical thinking. So ask what, why, and how about the title. So what does it mean? Lotteries. Positive good or unnecessary wrong? And it's a question mark. What does that mean for you, students? So when you read this title, what does that mean in your world or in your mind? Okay, so lotteries. Positive good or unnecessary wrong? It's a question mark. What is your answer to that question? Heman says it's kind of a legal gambling. Okay. But what does that mean, Heman? Positive good or unnecessary wrong? It's drawing a number, sure. So paying money to try out a person's luck is either good or bad for the person and society. That's what comes to mind for me. So when I read this title, lotteries, positive good or unnecessary wrong, what does it mean? I think, well, paying money to try luck, buy a lottery ticket, it's maybe good or bad for a person and for society. Puneet Ryla, nice to see you, and one of our newer members. Puneet says positives and negatives of lottery, maybe something like that. Yeah, Puneet. Okay, good. Why? So my next question would be why? Why is the lottery bad or good for people and society? Okay, so again, a little bit of predictive thinking here goes a long way. Preeti Sharma agrees as well. So positive and negative impacts of the lottery system. Shaksrizoda Komilova, hi to you as well. Charlie Sen says individuals buy lottery tickets to try his luck so that he can win a huge amount of money overnight. That's why. So, yeah. So, paying a bit of money to win the jackpot could be good for a person, or they can lose a lot of money buying lottery tickets and become addicted to gambling. Okay, that's what comes to mind for me. So when I think about why is the lottery bad or good for people in society, paying a bit of money to win the jackpot could be good for a person, or they can lose a lot of money when they become addicted. Tural Ishmailov says it's bad because people spend lots of money on lotteries. As a result, they lose their money. Tural, very good. That's what I said. Cool. Means that we're probably on the right page if we're stating the same kind of ideas. Kamal Sharma says many individuals buy lots of tickets for the lottery. Yeah, okay. Preeti says it might be good because people can earn a lot of money without hard work. Yeah, okay, sure. Oh, and let's not forget, it can be a type of kind of revenue for the government as well, right? Selling those lottery tickets. All right. So how can lotteries be good or bad for people? This is usually the example. So it's something like the answer here is spend $1, win $1 million. This is good. Or spend $100 each week on lottery tickets instead of healthy food. This is bad. Okay. Probably going to your nearest lottery office when there's a coronavirus outbreak and touching all of those pens and pencils that other people are touching as well. It's probably a bad idea, right? So maybe not a good idea to gamble when there is a pandemic. And I don't mean that as a joke. I'm actually serious about that. So pay attention to touching pens and papers that a lot of people are touching, right? Like the UPS delivery guy pen and the pen at the lottery office. Those are very, very dangerous points of infection. So those could be bad. All right. That was a little bit of an anecdote, but again, the main point here is look at the title, Lotteries, Positive Good or Unnecessary Wrong. Ask what, why, and how, and answer them. Do this quickly to get your brain ready for the reading passage. Okay? All right. So, next step, let's read this passage together. So we will get to these challenging questions at the end. We will do this together. I will give you some instructions along the way. All right. Here we go, students. This is a reading class, so make sure to read with me, read aloud, repeat. So read and repeat. And we'll do this step by step. At home, you should be reading, okay? There's no shortcuts to get those band 7 and higher scores. Skimming, scanning, not effective, all right? Increase font size. Sure, can do. Here we go. How's that? Is that better, Boomy? Yes, hopefully. All right. Okay. Yeah, feedback is great. Boomy, excellent. Keep that up. So here we go. We're still a little bit, I'm going to go a tiny bit smaller, so I think we're a little bit off screen. All right, let me try it like that. That's maximum screen size. All right, so here we go, students. Here we go. Let's read together. A lottery is a form of gambling where contestants purchase tickets, with one or more tickets being drawn as winners at the end of the competition period. Okay, I'm not sure if everybody was ready, so we're going to start from the beginning just one more time. Here we go. Read with me. A lottery is a form of gambling where contestants purchase tickets, with one or more tickets being drawn as winners at the end of the competition period. Often, there's a jackpot winner who wins most or all of the prize pool. Today, national lottery jackpots can range from millions to hundreds of millions of dollars. It wasn't long ago that lotteries were outlawed almost everywhere in the world. Today, lotteries are legal in North America, Australia, and much of Europe and Asia. A question is raised over what has changed to make something previously seen as negative for society become common across the globe. If gambling is bad, why are lotteries so popular, and why do governments support them? All right, as always, when you read a paragraph, especially when you're practicing at home, you should ask the question. So this is a very important strategy, okay, especially for practice at home. Which is simply, after reading each paragraph, ask and answer in full sentence or sentences, what is this paragraph about? So what is this paragraph about? Tito says it's about lotteries and their functions. Nope. Boomy, there's a reason we didn't check the questions before reading. Don't worry about it. I'm focusing specifically on the passage right now. So, what's the answer? What is this paragraph about? Tural says it's general information about lotteries. Muyasar says, here there aren't sociable people. I don't think, Muyasar, that's what the paragraph is about. Sangsar says, love from India. Love from Budapest too, Sangsar, but I don't think that's what the paragraph is about. Pavan says it's an introduction to lotteries and places where they are legal. Pavan, that is the nicest answer I've seen so far. Good job, Pavan. So Pavan says it's an introduction to lotteries, so a definition of lotteries and places where they are popular today. Absolutely. Okay, students, with good active reading, this is what you should be able to achieve after you read a paragraph like this. So with good active reading skills, you should be able to produce this concise, accurate answer. If you can't, you have to keep practicing this skill, okay? So it's a definition of lotteries and places where they are popular today. That is the clearest, most concise answer for this question. What is paragraph 1 about? Do you agree or disagree with me? You could say, hey, Adrian, Pavan, you're out to lunch. I don't think that's what it's about. Or you might say, yeah, I agree. That's kind of what it's about, I think. Tito says, yeah, that looks about right. Okay. So having clarity in your mind as you go through the paragraphs will help you with the difficult questions. That's why I'm showing you this skill and emphasizing it right now. Okay. So having clarity about the contents in each paragraph will help you greatly to solve questions, especially the difficult ones. Okay, and it's not rocket science, students. You don't have to speak perfect English. You don't have to understand every word, just the main idea. Okay, let's do this a little bit more with the ensuing paragraphs. Follow with me, read with me, nice and loud, students. Here we go. People buy lottery tickets for one chief reason. They want to win the jackpot. In the long run, lotteries are a bad bet. The odds of winning are always stacked against the player. That is to say, the long-term expected return on the player's money is significantly less than the money paid for the tickets. This is how the lottery corporations make money on the lottery. The payout is far less than the revenue of ticket sales, and the government takes the difference. If 1 million tickets are sold at $5 a piece, and the jackpot is $3 million, then the government has made $2 million of profit in the process. We are forced to question why lotteries are so popular given their poor value for players. It's because of the thrill of possibly winning the jackpot, the anticipation of life-changing win for the ticket purchasers worth the money. It's the same reason why people gamble at casinos. Many people know they are not going to win in the long run at the casino, but the short-term thrill makes up for their long-term losses. All right. So, what is this paragraph about? What is this paragraph about, students? So again, you read the paragraph and you want to ask afterwards, what is this about? So what is body paragraph 1 about? And what's the answer to that? Okay. Pavan says the value of lotteries and why they go for it. Not bad, Pavan. Try to be a little bit clearer with your subjects. Okay. So Hemant says why lotteries are bad in the long term and how governments earn from lotteries. Okay, that's pretty good, Hemant. That's pretty good. Okay. Elena says how the government makes money from lotteries and how it attracts people. Okay, good, Elena. Students, really work hard to avoid questions in your answers. Okay, so question markers. This is a little bit of a tip here. Okay, in communication, in good communication, avoid using question markers in answers or statements. Okay, and a lot of you are doing this, and we do this naturally, okay, but it's better to avoid it. So words like how, why, when, what, okay? These are used mostly for questions, and we use these words very easily when we give answers as well, but you want to use better words, especially when you're creating a statement or an answer. So here it is. This is what many of you said, but I'm going to put it down as a statement instead, okay? So the incentives for governments to run lotteries, as well as the reasons people enjoy playing lotteries. Okay, so Notice, students, how I'm not using any words like why, so why people play lotteries or why governments do lotteries, but instead I'm using what's called affirmative language, right? So I'm making this clearly a statement rather than a question. So the incentives for governments, incentives is kind of like another word for reasons. So the incentives for governments to run lotteries, as well as the reasons people enjoy playing lotteries. Does that make sense? So, Jen, the reason why lottery is bad bet, right? So take out the why. The reason lotteries are a bad bet. Okay, it's just a kind of a tip to improve communication. And you can do this in your own language as well, by the way. So whether you're speaking Hindi, Punjabi, Spanish, Russian, notice when you're actually not asking a question, but you're using question words. Try to avoid those in your communication, and you will see that your communication will improve. Okay? All right. Getting back to point here. Let's read paragraph C. Here we go. All right. So, C, read with me. The main argument against lotteries is that it acts as a tax on the poor, and such a tax is unfair. This is because statistics show that poor people are by far the most common purchasers of lottery tickets. There are two reasons why this could be the case. First, poor people have the most to gain by winning the lottery. Second, poor people are arguably less likely to have a statistical understanding of the lottery. They are less likely to realize that it is a bad bet. All right, Jen, Fidan, Preeti, thanks for that agreement on my last point. Students, what is that paragraph about? So body paragraph 2 that we just read. You visualized it. What is it about? What is body paragraph 2 about? Keep it simple. Keep it concise. Okay, Noman, very nice. So Noman, very nice and concise. Victims of the lottery. Noman, make it even more accurate. Victims of the lottery are usually poor people. Okay, Kamal, disadvantages of lottery for poor people. Hemant says main drawbacks of lotteries, its effect on the poor segment of the population. Hemant, take out the how they are attracted towards it, because then I will ask you how. How are they attracted towards it, right? So statements, students, statements. Don't use question markers in your language. Okay. Elena says relationship between poor people and lotteries as a tax scheme. Yes, Elena, don't forget the word lotteries. Flower Son says poor people fall into the trap of lotteries. Very good. That works as well. Okay, all of those are good. Nice, you're catching on. So, yeah, C was about poor people being the victims, the primary victims of lotteries. That would be my summary. So poor people are the primary victims of lotteries. Okay? All right, let's keep reading. D. The main argument in favor of lotteries is that it is harmless fun which results in tax income that often goes straight to community programs such as sports or the arts. Many community programs rely solely on lottery finances to operate. So in this sense, the lottery is a positive good. However, there are many people, often poor people, who become obsessed with gambling and the lottery, and it starts to take over their lives. For these people, the lottery is detrimental. Okay, what is paragraph D about? Okay, so what is paragraph D about? I see lots of great answers for paragraph C. Now tell me what paragraph D is about. Elena says arguments that support lottery and oppose it. Even more direct, Elena. So positives are lottery. Positives of the lottery are community programs. Negatives are addiction. Right? Tamir Khan says the pros and cons of the lottery business. Yeah, and again, I mean, the whole passage is about that, Tamir Khan, Elena. The whole passage is about the pros and cons. So let's be a little bit more specific. The advantage of lotteries for the community or society, right? So be specific, students. My answer would be this here. So the advantages of lotteries as a tax income for community programs, and the disadvantages as a form of addiction for individuals. Okay, so you want to be specific and concise with your answers, all right? Super important. So be specific, be specific and concise. With your answers. Okay, that's your goal. All right, let's keep going. Paragraph E. Here we go. One interesting way to look at the lottery and why people participate in it is to imagine it as a kind of reverse insurance. People buy insurance for their home or car so that if something bad happens to it, they do not have to pay the entire cost of the damage. In other words, they pay a little bit each month so that they don't have to pay a large amount at one time. They pay these smaller amounts to insurance companies, and those insurance companies make money in the long run. So paying insurance is not a good bet either, just like the lottery. With the lottery, we pay little amounts every once in a while so that maybe we will hit the jackpot. With insurance, we pay a little to save a lot, and with the lottery, we pay a little to win a lot. When looked at it this way, the popularity of the lottery is more easily understood. Okay, what is this paragraph about? What is this paragraph about? And you're going to see that the reason why I'm doing this is because this is a very, very good strategy to help solve some difficult questions that will follow this passage. Okay. So Hemant says it's the positive of lotteries, analogy of lotteries with insurance. Yeah, so Hemant, the parallel between insurance and lotteries, it's not even an analogy because it's more of a parallel, right? So Tito, it's not the difference between lotteries and insurance, but it's more the similarity, okay? Rodrigo Duarte, I love your answer. Comparison between lotteries and insurance. Carolina, nice to see you in class. Carolina says comparisons between lottery and insurance. Paying a little to win a lot or paying a little to not lose a lot, right? So very good, students. Easy answer here. Comparison between lotteries and insurance. The similarities and differences, right? Mostly the similarities. All right, that's what it's about. Absolutely. Let's go on to paragraph F. Here we go. When it comes down to it, lotteries are a choice. Yes, they amount to a tax, but so do the monthly fees we pay to insurance companies. If people want to pay a few dollars here and there for a little fun, excitement, and a small chance to win a monstrous amount of money, then what's the harm? Additionally, lottery monies fund many valuable community programs which otherwise would have trouble operating. Playing the lottery responsibly is fun, exciting, and maybe, just maybe, extremely profitable. Okay, what is this last paragraph about? What is the conclusion about? What is the conclusion about? Keep it simple and concise. Looks like there's a lot of information there. Elena says, supporting the investment of lotteries. Elena, more specific. Practice being specific when you're doing this at home, okay? No Man says, lottery can be fun. Yeah. Puneet says, lottery revenues used for good events, but poor people get addicted. Not so much. The benefits of lottery and their support. Tito? Kind of. Manpreet says, lotteries as a fun choice. Yeah. That's pretty good. So lotteries can be fun if they are played responsibly. And they are a choice. All right. So lotteries can be fun if they're played responsibly and they're a choice. That's what that last paragraph is about. Let's look at these challenging questions now. Okay, here we go. So the first set of questions. Have a look at these. These can be quite challenging. So the questions that I'm showing you right now are questions that you cannot skim or scan for, okay? And most questions are like that. So remember this, students. Skim reading is not an effective strategy for high band scores above 6.5. In fact, for some questions, like matching information in paragraphs or true, false, not given, skim reading and scanning the text is a completely useless strategy and a waste of time. Okay? If the information is in the last paragraph for the first question, you have to read or skim the whole passage to find it. That's crazy. Or if the answer is not given, you have to skim read the whole passage to realize that the answer is not given. That's crazy. Okay, do you get my drift? So you see what I mean? Okay, so for these questions, you have to use much better strategies. You have to read the passage. Okay, you have 10 minutes to read the passage. That's lots of time. Make sure to practice at home reading a passage in 10 minutes. Okay. So here we go, students. I'll teach you some more effective strategies that you can use. This is the paragraph matching one. So which paragraph contains the following information? Okay, which paragraph contains the following information? Write the correct letter A to F in your answer sheet. Note, by the way, you can use each letter more than once. Okay, number one, the problem of gambling addiction. Okay, the problem of gambling addiction. So first, you want to figure out where this is in the passage. Now, if you did the exercise that we just did where you went and answered the what question for each paragraph, this should be easier. First, you can figure out, is this something that you'll find in the introduction or the conclusion or body paragraphs, okay? So, number one, okay, this is strategy one for matching information to paragraphs. Okay, number one, figure out if the info is in the intro, body, or conclusion. Okay, it will be easier and quicker to find. All right. So I can see that a lot of you are answering that question for me. Noman, Bumi, Nekmeh, Naderi are saying it's in the body. It's in the body. Okay, Carolina agrees that it's in the body. And hopefully here, if you did critical reading, you should have a pretty good idea of where the information is. Okay. Also, you need to look for paraphrased information. Like addicted equals play lottery every day. Okay? All right. So remember how for one of the paragraphs, I said that this paragraph is about it's good for the community and it's bad for people who are addicted, right? So if I remember correctly, can anybody tell me roughly where that was? Was that in the middle, near the end? Obsessed, Taral? Yeah, very good as well. So Taral says, think about the word obsessed. Maybe you saw that in there because that's another word for addicted. Yeah, absolutely. Carolina says, I think it was around D. So here we go. D, the main argument in favor of lotteries. It's harmless fun which results in tax income for the community. Oh, that looks good. Many people, often poor people, who become obsessed. Hey, Taral, super giant bonus thumbs up. You got the word. That's the word for addicted, obsessed. If you're skim reading the text for addicted, you won't find it. You'll waste tons of time. There it is. It's D. So all we do is put in D and move on. Okay, let's do these strategies or apply these strategies for the next sets. Those less fortunate are more likely to play the lottery. Introduction, body, or conclusion? I think that was the body, right? I hope everybody agrees. Kind of near the beginning, middle, or the end. I remember reading about poor people a little bit closer to the beginning. So for me, in my mind, it's going to be paragraph B or C. Okay? I'm going to go back and quickly just check that. Poor people, paraphrase, less fortunate. Okay? People who buy the lottery tickets. Okay, yep, now we remember B was about the reason governments and people buy lotteries. So I'm going to jump to C. The main arguments against lotteries, it acts as a tax on poor people. Fantastic. C it is. So all I'm doing right now, students, is I'm thinking aloud so you can kind of hear how my brain works as I'm solving these questions. Okay? And I want you to do the same. Okay? So the legality of lotteries. Go through this thinking process. Tell me which paragraph. You should get that one very quickly. So for number 3, the legality of lotteries. According to all of these strategies that we're using, what do you think it is? Where would you find that? Introduction, body, conclusion. Abhishek says 3 is A. Tamir Khan says that looks like an A. Bunyad says A. Noman says A and B, but Noman, you can only choose one, right? It's A. If I write an essay about positive good, negative of lotteries in the world, I would put the information about their legality in the introduction, right? I would introduce it with that information. Absolutely, Preeti. So all of you who are saying intro, you're correct. Number 4, the financial incentive for governments to run the lotteries. Oh, wow, look at that. I mean, I even used the word incentive in my answer when I asked, what is this paragraph about? So body, intro, conclusion. What's the answer for number 4? I want to show you that it's quite magical once you do this well, how quickly you can do it. So you're right, Hemant, it's body. Carolina says that's B, because explaining the reasons for governments and people to play the lottery would be very near the beginning somewhere. And you're right, and look at all of you, just fantastic, beautiful people. You're figuring this out, and you're noticing that there is a logic here. Okay, there is a logic. So clear, critical, logical thinking can boost your IELTS scores for difficult questions very quickly. Okay. All right. Number 5, community incentives are funded by lottery proceeds. So community programs are funded by lottery proceeds. This one should be fairly easy because you probably had 2 looks at this now if you got these correct. Just give me the answer. Where do you think it's coming from? Number 5. Abhishek says number 5's D. Puneet says last paragraph. Okay. Hemant says towards the end of the passage. Pachu says E. Noman says E. Puneet says, I thought it was mentioned twice. Very good, Puneet. And I'm going to give you some clarity here. So the correct answer is D. Now, the IELTS exam, so challenging questions, right? The last 2 questions are in each set will usually be more challenging. And this is where some of you will be like, ooh, okay, I think that was in the conclusion also, right? So a couple of interesting points here. Notice this part of the question. Okay, so IELTS is also testing for Band 9. Band 9 means an expert user of not only English, but communications and exams for the master's PhD level. So notice this here. You may use any letter more than once. When you see this, there's a very good chance, no guarantee, but there's a very good chance that there will be one letter which will appear more than once. Now, careful with this, okay? Here's an important note that you have to keep in mind, and this is true for the entire IELTS exam, okay? The IELTS exam is not a high school level exam. Rather, it is a college, university level exam. What does that mean? This means that you have to choose the best answer, and there may be more than one correct answer. In high school, especially grade 9, 10, 11, grade 12 gets a little bit trickier in Canada, US, but Australia, UK. But in high school, there is often just one right answer. Okay. In the IELTS, in college, university, it's not the case, all right? I'll show you what I mean with this question. So many of you are correct that in paragraph F, which is the conclusion, it does say that there is valuable community programs which otherwise would have trouble operating. So here we have lottery monies fund many valuable programs which otherwise would have trouble operating. So you have about one line, one sentence, right? Now, if I go back to paragraph D, the main argument in favor of lotteries is that it is harmless fun which results in tax income that often goes straight to community programs such as sports and the arts. Many community programs rely solely on lottery finances to operate. So in this sense, the lottery is a positive good. So here we have 3 lines talking about this. So which one is the best answer, D or F? Which one is the best answer about lotteries as a support for community programs? D or F? Yeah, it's absolutely D. Okay, so keep this in mind, students. This is another reason why skimming and scanning can be very dangerous. Okay, so this is yet another reason that skim reading is not effective for IELTS, because you may find the right answer, but not the best answer. Does that make sense? So this is why skimming and scanning is a very dangerous strategy to use on the IELTS exam. Okay? Is that clear for everyone now why I really recommend not doing that? Especially for those of you who need a band 7 or more. Okay? And I know that a lot of students still do it, and then they're so sad. It's usually when I see this is when students come back and they say, "Hey Adrian, I got listening score 7, speaking score 7.5, writing score 6.5, but my reading score was 5. What happened?" And I'm like, did you skim read? And then they're like, yes. And then I'm like, that's what happened. Okay. So be really careful with that. Okay. Manpreet says, I got 7 in reading, but Manpreet, I'm guessing you probably weren't skim reading. Okay. All right. Okay, students, so now some more questions here. Okay, some more questions. So for difficult questions, you really do have to read the text, and for most of the exam, you have to read the text. True, false, not given. True, false, not given. Okay. Here we go. Do the following statements agree with the information given in the reading passage? Okay. It's a true, false, not given. We've practiced this strategy before. It's a yes, no, not given. Okay, yes, no, not given. True, false, not given. You have to use your logic here. Okay, so follow with me. We're just going to go through these and use our logic. There are videos on the YouTube channel in HD which are specific to this question. Okay, so look for the HD videos, not the live class videos, but the HD videos. Let's do a couple of these together. So, number 6. Lotteries are outlawed almost everywhere. Is this important info? For this passage. Is this important info for this passage? Lotteries are outlawed almost everywhere. Is that important info? Yes, it is. So it's given. Okay, great. So next question, question number 2. Is it true? Are lotteries outlawed almost everywhere? So if you think about it, can you play lottery in your country? Can you play it in North America? You can. Can you play it in Australia? Sure you can. Can you play lotteries in Europe? Absolutely. Can you play lotteries in China or many other Asian countries? Yeah, you can. So are they outlawed everywhere? No, it's false. Big F, right? It's false. They were in the past, 1,000 years ago, but they're legal today in North America, many parts of Asia, Europe, right? So the answer is false. It's important information for the passage, so it must be given. It's not true because lotteries are allowed in many parts of the world. People gamble in many parts of the world. So they were, but they're not now. This is present tense, are. Next question. In the long run, a person who plays the lottery should expect to lose money. Is it important? So if I write an essay about lotteries, is it important to know that people will likely lose money in the long run? Yeah, it's important. So I know that it's given. So then I ask my second question, is it true or false? Is it true that people will lose money after a long time if they play the lottery? Yeah, it's true. So my answer is true. So false and true, okay? That's all you have to do. Figure out if it's important for the passage, or if it's important, it's given. If it's not important, it's not given, okay? So number 8, lotteries are popular because they serve as a pleasurable diversion from everyday life. Is it important for lotteries, good or evil, to know that they serve as a pleasurable diversion from everyday life? Is that important for this passage? Yeah, maybe not, right? Maybe not. Maybe it could be, but I feel that it's not for this passage. So not given. Okay, I don't even need to ask the second question because I don't recall visualizing or thinking the author's writing, we ignore life because we play the lottery. So not given. Many people play the lottery without an understanding of its statistical background. For lotteries, good or evil, is it important to know whether or not people understand the statistics of lottery or of lotteries? Yeah, so that would be given. Okay. And then, next question. Is it true that many people who play the lotteries don't understand the chances of winning? I mean, a lot of people know that the chances are bad, but do most people know that when you're playing the 649 lotto, your chances of winning are 1 in 32,748,395? Yeah, most people don't know that. So it's true, okay, because it's the negative. Careful with these negatives, without. So false, true, not given, true. Very good. Carolina, nice. Good to see you in class. Students, great work today. That's how you solve tricky questions. You read the passage actively. Doesn't mean you have to understand every word, okay? But you do have to understand the main point of each paragraph, all right? Use your critical, logical thinking. Keep a catalog of the information that you read, all right? That's what you have to do. That's it for today. I look forward to seeing you next week on Wednesday. Keep up the good studies, everyone. Chin up. Immune system strong. Look to the future. And remember, you're all brilliant, beautiful people full of life and energy, and you can do anything that you set your mind to. Learning languages is challenging, but not impossible. We're all programmed to do it. Just like physical fitness and good health, we have to do it daily, persist, and persevere. That's it for me. Much love to all of you from Budapest. Bye for now. See you next week.